Stop thinking of your vendors as someone that you just order from, and instead look at them for what they truly are, partners in your success. But I'm telling you, your vendors won't give VIP treatment to just anybody. Keep watching for the insider tips that I have found the hard way work to get special treatment from your vendors. Hey there, I'm Kathy Donovan Wagner, founder of Retail Mavens and mother of America's Most Fun Family. Have you subscribed to my channel yet? Listen, if not, what are you waiting for? Sign up right now and click the bells to get notifications of each time I share a tip, a trick, and strategy that makes you a richer retailer in every sense of the word. Would you like to get VIP treatment from your vendors? Of course you would. To learn to get the secrets on how to get the best support you can from your vendors, I've talked to a number of people, including a senior buyer from Macy's and a fantastic women's apparel sales rep, as well as leaning on my own experience from when I had my store. One huge difference that I found worked for me was changing my mindset of how I looked at these people that were taking my orders. I viewed them as genuine partners in our mutual success, that I could help them be more successful and they could help me be more successful. That changed it all and really started this whole ball rolling. And I got many deals and opportunities for things that my colleagues did not. And in fact, these experts that I talked to corroborated that story. They said too that if you maximize the relationship that you have with your vendors, it requires a bit of homework because you have to have data to give to them. It always gets rewarded. They confirmed that they will always go the extra mile to help someone who genuinely wants help and has data to back it up. So I want you to implement these insider tips so that you too can get better vendor deals, better terms, which absolutely means improved cash flow and more profit for you. Okay, here are a few of the things to consider when you're prepping for your appointment before you even go to the trade show. You've got to do your vendor homework. You've got to review the vendor's performance. Look at it in dollars, not units. Consider what sold and what didn't sell, because what didn't sell can be a great negotiating lever in a conversation with them. And you have to appreciate that most people just come up saying to people, yeah, your stuff just didn't sell for me. Well, that kind of blanket statement is meaningless to somebody, right? When you have a document that you can say, this did really well, but these couple items, I really tanked with. I lost my shirt on them. You can see the numbers right here. That makes all the difference. So check to see, did you make money from them? Also make a note of how it's paid for. Do you have terms? Do you have to put it on a credit card? Is it COD? Do you get extended dating from them? The difference in cash flow from getting net 60 days is astonishing. It has such a huge impact on your cash flow versus net 30 or COD. COD is absolutely the worst. So also think about, is the initial markup discretionary or is it dictated? I want you to do an analysis of the maintained markup. Is there a reason to continue doing business with them? What I find most often is that point of sales will give you that information. In general, what you're looking for is how much you sold at retail and then comparing that to how much you brought in at cost, and seeing what that difference is. That difference is what your maintained markup is, what your gross profit was from that particular order. I also want you to consider, have you been a steady income of theirs for a long time? What percentage of their business is your volume? That's an important thing for you to know and for you to share with them, because if they represent a large portion of your business, then they probably also represent a large portion of your advertising and marketing, right? Is your business growing with them? Do you pay on time? And if the answer to those last 4 questions is yes, then you're in a good position to expect them to work with you and for you. Next, come to your appointment ready to negotiate your VIP perks. Keep these key negotiating points in mind while you're meeting with them. And also make sure that you're meeting with the person who has the ability to make decisions for you. Sometimes the sales rep doesn't. Sometimes it's a district manager, or perhaps even the buyer is there. Talk to them about how you want to work together to achieve more mutual success. You want to increase the success that you're both having. Frankly, what I've learned is that people will absolutely get it, or they absolutely won't. And so if you find that it's someone that understands it, then keep going. I want you to remember always that you are the customer and that you are important to them. And ask. You've got to ask. You won't get anything if you don't. What's the worst that can happen? They say no, but you'll be shocked at how often people will say yes. So start off with markdowns. If your maintained markup has been low, ask for markdown dollars. I want you to know that the majority, in fact, I would go so far as say all big vendors absolutely leave money in their pricing for markdown dollars. They give it to the big guys. I was just speaking at a trade show with a colleague of mine who worked for Dayton Hudson. She then left them and was a buyer for a smaller 10-store chain, and they said to her, "Oh no, we never ask for markdown dollars. If we bought something that didn't sell, we feel like it's our mistake." And she said, "You're just giving away money to the big guys because they all get it." So let that reassure you. And if they say no to you at first, it's because they expect you to give in. Don't give in. Keep talking to them. Don't take their first no as the final answer. Know that they might ask for a future commitment to a specific purchase amount, and so you have to decide if you're comfortable with that. Ask what else they could do to recoup their losses if they have no dollars. Are there any free goods you can give me? Is there any free swag that you can give me? How about first notice of promo priced goods? That can be incredible for you. They may not even realize that you're looking for promotionally priced goods. And what you want in most of those cases is to be able to purchase their items at 50% off cost. That's generally what we're looking for. All right, marketing dollars. That's the next thing to ask for. Every time you promote a brand in anything, you should be able to get a percent of your purchases with them back in marketing dollars. Ask for it. Again, the big stores are all asking for it. You deserve that money too. Always require them to list you on their website as carrying their merchandise. And ask them if they're doing any national ads. If the venue, if where they're advertising it looks appropriate to you, ask that they feature your store in those ads too. That can bring you an awful lot of visibility. Okay, about markups. If a vendor is dictating the initial markup, and if it's below what your usual initial markup is, ask them for a discount to make it worth your while to carry them. Tell them you can't be profitable at that markup. What else can they do for you? Can they give you extended terms? Be creative about what you think about. Can they give you free swag? Valuable items for free to raffle off. Sometimes calling it something different changes their answer. Then there's minimum orders. If you fall in love with the line, but their minimums are much higher than you're comfortable ordering, I tell you, just keep asking. Just keep on moving up the line. You'd be amazed at how often we hear from one client that, "Yeah, no, I couldn't get into that because their minimums were way too high." And then the next client we'll talk to say, "Yeah, so I was able to talk them into reducing their minimum on order for me." And it's all just because that other person invested more time and energy into talking to them and talking about the size of their platform. And be proud of the customers that you have. What we know is that, sure, some influencer or some big store might have a larger number of followers, but what we know about you and your people is that your people are more loyal. They're more tightly connected. They really care about everything that you suggest and talk about. So talk about all that to that person. And what I find often happens is that you can convince them to decrease their minimum orders. And don't forget about pop-ups, or what they used to call trunk shows. This can be a fabulous way of trying new merchandise with a minimum amount of risk. And you want them to share the cost because they have to appreciate that you are featuring and highlighting their goods for an extended amount of time. It can be such a win-win for the two of you. You should offer that to everyone and talk about how can we make this work for both of us. And remember that these pop-ups or trunk shows, as they used to be called, work for all kinds of stores and types of inventory, for jewelry, for clothing, for gifts, home decor, for toys, and more. They really work for everything. There's also more in-store events that you can do. A game company will help you host in-store game nights. Jewelry companies sometimes will offer a design your own night. Ask them what promotions and events they've done with other stores that it's been successful. Tell them you're open to anything in order to make your partnership as successful as possible. Make it clear to them that you will not accept late shipments. For sure, you deserve to get something from them if you do accept it, either longer dating or a discount. If you do a lot of business from a vendor with one item, don't hesitate to ask for a discount on that. Tell them that you want to go big with their item. Tell them that you're going to be ordering a quantity that's a little scary for you, but you're really committing to it and you're going to commit a lot of energy in terms of marketing it, and so would they give you a discount? I find that they often will. And then of course there's off-priced or promotional priced goods. Tell them that you're always looking for that. This refers to getting inventory at a price that is less than the original asking wholesale price. Remember that somebody always ends up canceling or bouncing back inventory, and there's no reason why you shouldn't have access to that with a discount, of course. Tell them that you're very interested in that and that you have a very sophisticated way of getting rid of this merchandise during your clearance sales that you do twice a year. You do know all about our Retail Mavens clearance sale, right? It works like a charm. I used to make a note on my calendar to call vendors where I really love their merchandise. I used to call them every 2 weeks to ask them if they had any promo priced merchandise. I had a kids store and people would always say, yeah, there's no margin price goods in kids clothing. And that was just not true. I always had it. In fact, they got to the point where they were always calling me first and I never even had to call again. And that can make such a big difference in your bottom line. So always ask for that. Finally, reorders. If you're reordering an item, ask for a discount. Every time. It's always worth the ask. It's especially worth the ask if it's a seasonal item and it's getting towards the end of the season. You don't know. Maybe they're really nervous about getting stuck with too much inventory. And so they're going to be grateful that you're reordering it, right? So it's always worth an ask. You're taking an extra risk at getting that inventory later in the season, and so you deserve a bit of a discount for taking that risk. Next, watch this video right here so you can learn how to merchandise all these great items you've gotten from your vendor around your point of sale area for more profit. Happy retailing.